Let's get to the next clip.
An attractive man, and y'all had a good conversation.
Anywho, thank this is in the way. Hey, what's the questions?
What's your name?
I'm Key.
And you?
Brady.
Why do you think it's appropriate to just run up in our interview mid-conversation?
I don't give a
They white, and I don't give a fuck.
I never give.
Are you just looking for attention?
No, never. I never gave.
We want to be fun and come up in the video.
But if I'm in the middle of a conversation with two people,
I'm sorry, y'all. He feel disrespected. I'm
Did you have a
gone.
problem with it? What? So what's the problem now? What's the problem now? We are girls. We are girls, aren't we? Anywho, what's next?
What you just witnessed was a guy trying to do an interview with some ladies, and then some other girls came in and bombarded the interview. So let's start with the white girl first.
I mean, personally, in my opinion,
what if that happened to you?
I would have handled the situation differently.
What would you have done differently?
I would have addressed them.
The girls?
Yeah.
That weighed 200 pounds more than you?
That don't matter to me.
Oh, you with all the smoke?
That's
you
fine.
From Nope?
No, but I still would have addressed them about it.
Okay. Politely, like, hey, I'm Becky. I'm just wondering if it's like, no, how, or you would have been like, listen, girls.
Basic. I mean, I have a really aggressive tone in general, so no matter, even if I tried saying it nice, they probably would have taken it rudely, but
okay,
I still would address them on the situation, like, excuse me, I was just, in the middle of this video, so y'all can wait your turn, but...
Okay, so you would address them like that.
Yeah.
Do you think what they did was, appropriate? Give me your feelings on what they did.
No, it was disrespectful. Obviously, because they just did it on purpose. So if they wanted to do it on purpose...
then... the reasoning for it was, like they said, because they're white. She's like, but they white anyway. What about that reasoning behind it?
That don't bother me. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
I still just would address them in the situation, put them in their place, personally. That's not the appropriate thing to do, so y'all can wait your turn.
Okay, fair enough. Let me get your perspective.
I feel like regardless of weight, of race, it was very disrespectful. You don't just interrupt people when they're trying to do something, especially when you weren't invited. Just don't do that.
If you were in the white girl's shoes and some white girls came and was like, let me just interrupt this, and because they anyway. What would you have done, and how would you have felt?
I would have just definitely clocked them. What do you mean by that?
I like that answer.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Or not nigga, but what if she was like, yeah, they're black anyway.
Yeah, it would have been the same thing.
Would have been the same thing.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's go around.
You said you would have clocked them, then asked them, or would you have asked them, then clocked them? Which one would have came first?
Whichever one comes first.
Whichever one's come first. Give me your take on that.
I mean, me personally, I probably would have just walked away. I'm a very
non-confrontational person. Okay.
I think that pretty much race shouldn't be an issue with anything. I am all about equality and things like that. So the way that they came up and just said, oh, they're white, that to me was just okay, my time to step back, just walk away and just not even try to do anything.
Now, two questions for you real quick. When we reverse the hypothetical, which was more of an issue? If we reverse it, so hypothetically, would race have been more of the issue, or their inappropriate behavior been more of an issue? Say if white girls came, let's just change the situation. You doing a video, some white girls come excuse me, and then the guy's like, wait, you're just gonna bombard in the video? And then the white girls respond yeah, they just black anyway. Mm-hmm. What would been at the top of your priority of how you felt? Them being inappropriate in their behavior, or them being racist?
Definitely the racism.
Okay. Same question to you. Now, we don't got to do the hypothetical. We can go with the real situation. In that scenario, what's top priority in those black girls' behavior? Was it the fact that they was ew, those just white girls anyway? Or was it the fact that they were rude and inappropriate?
I feel the first thing would have been just Them being disrespectful.
Okay.
I mean, like, I really don't care if they call me like the white girls in front. It don't matter. I mean, I can show them differently, but other than that, like, I don't really care. Like, they can say whatever. It don't bother me.
Take notes. Take notes. What I'm doing here. Take notes. Okay. And I guess you already said yours, but I just wanted to get that perspective over there between the white girl and the black girl and the differences. Moving right along with you, what's your perspective of the video?
I feel like it was staged. I feel like it was fake. I feel like sometimes these YouTubers kind of just do stuff to go viral, and that's what that situation was, only because of the way they were presenting themselves, the way they looked. I feel like he just found the opportunity and he took it.
Okay. So it definitely could have been staged. I don't know. But let's just say it is real. Like, could you see black girls acting like that in real life? Or any type of girls? Could you see that type of behavior from women?
I feel like, is there a possibility? Yeah. Like, are the chances high? No, only because they seen that he was recording. Like, they didn't really look too good. I feel like African American girls are very big on their appearance when it comes to like the public eye. Like, me personally, I wouldn't want to be on camera if I'm not looking my best. So everyone's preference is different for sure.
What if that was just their best?
And they got to work on that.
Man, it looked like, I'm be honest, that looked like that
kind of
was
was giving
best.
like, it kind of was giving city, like they were in the public. I don't know if it was like Boardwalk or like Miami vibes. I don't know.
Seemed like he's in that guy is, shout out to him, he's in Miami and he does these type of interviews all the time. That could have been staged. I don't know the guy personally, but if it wasn't staged, okay, you gave me your perspective. In regards to the race, what's your nationality? You black?
I'm West African.
You West African. Okay. All right. So, I mean, now let's just go around. We got there. I went in on this panel with it. Let's get your perspective. You could pass her the mic.
Yeah, I didn't like the video. And they were very contradictory. They're like, oh, they white girls. But then they were like, we're girls. Are you a girls girl if you already like interrupting they stuff and doing the most? Like, yeah. I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way. And so, yeah.
All right. So what if someone did that to you? What you doing?
Yeah. They black girls. I'd like to think I would get active, but I might be like her and just like step away. Like, I don't have the time for it. Because I don't have time for ignorance. But there's a part of me that's like, oh, I should hit her. But I really, there's no violence in me though. For real. I stopped fighting in middle school. So it's like, yeah.
You won your last fight? No.
I did. It was my best friend, actually. We're best friends now. She lives in Virginia too, and we still close.
Fair enough. And what's your thoughts on that video?
I definitely feel like it was...
You could put the mic up to you.
I definitely feel like it was rude to interrupt, but I do feel like they was also drunk, and they was not really... You can clearly see they really didn't care. Like, I feel like they would have did it with anybody. Okay.
Do you think that being drunk, we should excuse their poor behavior just because they were intoxicated?
Not at all. That's why I said I definitely feel like they was rude for interrupting their interview, because they clearly was standing there talking to, the host or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Ease, you want to give your perspective on that?
Yeah, I didn't like the video either. I think the host, he should have checked them. Like, yo, what are you doing? And I think he should have shunned them out of the video, in my opinion.
I think he did. I feel like he did.
No, he was... See, I would have went about it different. I would have been like, excuse me, you see me talking to them. Can you get the hell out the camera? Move. I would not ask any questions or whatever. I would just straight up told me, move. I'm talking to such and such. Get out the camera now. You know what I'm saying? And they would have felt my energy. I didn't like that at all. Whether it was white, black, it doesn't matter the race. If I'm, interviewing someone and you rudely interrupt just like that for whatever reason, it's gonna piss me off. I don't even like when people cut me off during the podcast. So I'll wait till everybody finish. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay. I'm going to go back to you two. So you two you had different perspectives and different opinions. And from my observation of your different opinions, it seems that, what's your name again?
Leanne. I'm sorry, Leanne.
Leanne.
Yeah.
It seems like Leanne, she has a perspective that is void of a victim mindset. So even when we reversed the hypothetical, and if it was black girls that came into the space and the black girls said, she's just a white girl anyway, Leanne, she was able to not fall into the victim mindset and think like, oh, wow, like you're racist and this is, it's affecting me due to XYZ history that, let's say if everything was reversed, that white people went through, right? She's not even looking at that. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
Like you're just looking at it like, they were rude, they were inappropriate. That's the behavior. Whatever they want to call me as far as, white girl and stuff like that. The point is that you're still rude and it's inappropriate behavior. It has nothing to do with race or anything like that. Meanwhile, your observation of it was much different. And it's much different because in real time, black people do have a history. And that history involves slavery and stuff like that. And with that no, you was never a slave at all. Not even your grandmother was a slave. Probably if we go with great-great-grandmother, most likely a slave, right? But you were never a slave. You were never a victim yourself. That's the truth of it when it comes to the history of slavery. Now you can say that, well, my circumstances of where I'm at now could be affected because my grandparents didn't have the same equal opportunities as the white people grandparents and stuff like that back then. So, right now I had my starting place on how I started wasn't that the same with white people. You can make that argument, but then you could also make the argument where there was many white people that in America that didn't have any slaves at all, and they were poor. Like the Southerners, the trailer park people. I mean, they're very broke as well, just like the blacks and the ghettos and stuff like that. There were black ghettos, but there were white ghettos too. So I say all of that to say, and just correct me if I'm wrong on my observation, because I just want to understand your mindset. The way you thought about it and what provoked a response out of you was based off of race rather than the inappropriate and rude behavior. Now, it was inappropriate and rude, but that race stood out more, correct? And the reason why the race stood out more is because the history that black Americans been through in the past. So when we put that on yours, what I'm saying is you was actually never a victim. But internally, you still have this victim mindset like, my past ancestors been through things, so like I went through things. You get what I'm saying? But in reality, take the mic. I want to get your perspective because this is my observation, right? But in reality, what I'm saying is you're never a victim. You could have adopted her same mindset and been like, hey, those are rude, inappropriate people. Probably racist too. Like black people can be racist. Those black people that was doing it to those white girls, I would say those black people is racist, right? That's what I would say. Racist is just being prejudging and being prejudiced based off of race. That's all it is. And like discriminating based off of race. So what's your perspective about my observation?
I would have to disagree with you.
Sure, go ahead. Let me hear.
I feel like, I didn't experience slavery.
Okay.
But the video was racist.
Sure.
Like talking about race.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced racism, so I can very much feel emotions about it.
Got it. So you said that you experienced racism, so you can have an experience where it's like, I experienced racism before, like white people being racist. So this would be triggering and bring up past traumas because other white people was racist. So now they're doing it. This is racist. Got it. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced black people being racist to you?
Yes, because my baby father is black. So like a lot of his family disagree with him being with a white girl. So I get a lot of comments towards it. Perfect.
Give the mic back to her. So the white girl experienced racism too. But in her mindset, she wasn't a victim. She didn't think about like, well, her past experiences with racism didn't trigger her to make her prioritize the racists in the video. She just prioritized their bad behavior and them being inappropriate and disrespectful, which is true. You get what I'm saying? But yours was more triggered by the whole race thing, which then it created this. Like, what I'm trying to get at is, why are you a victim? Why do you have this victim mindset, and where do you think it came from? Because we just extrapolated it here. You do have the victim mindset. She doesn't.
I mean, I would
because she did experience racism.
There's levels to it. There's definitely levels to it. Her boyfriend and their parents being racist to her, that's a huge level. That's very different from if she and I have the same credentials, go for a job, and she gets picked above me. There's levels. Like,
that doesn't happen. With affirmative action and DEI, that doesn't happen. You know what affirmative action is? Yeah. That stopped back in, I think, 2020. But now they've been pushing DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? So with affirmative action, jobs, companies, big companies are actually incentivized. They get grants and stuff like they're incentivized to hire, to be diverse, to hire women, to hire black people, Puerto Ricans, stuff like that. So, and also even in colleges, there's a fact. The fact is black women are the highest out of all people, all races and genders in America. Black people are the highest educated. They have the most degrees. You know why? Well, one of the reasons why is they're definitely asserting themselves and they're pushing forward to get their degrees, which is a good thing. But the other reason is affirmative action and DEI, those type of, programs to be diverse and give grants to, people based off of different races. So I say that to say, that's just not the case. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you something.
Sure,
why do they have to be incentivized to hire black people?
You said, why do they have to be incentivized to hire black people?
They just hire black people.
Well, they do hire black people.
You just said because of DEI and
they don't have to be incentivized.
Right, but they are. Like, that's a thing. Why is it a thing?
The reason why it's a thing is because the Democrats pushed it and made it a thing. What companies normally do, they operate in merit base. So they hire people based off of the merit, the job. Yeah, you could get the mic next if you want to speak to. Because if you got the other two black girls over here, they Dan, move the camera. Dang, Dan, get the camera on them. The other two black girls here choking. They like, oh, this nigga crazy. I want to fight him. I'm gonna let y'all speak. I'm gonna let y'all speak next. I want to get y'all opinion on this too. But to answer your question, companies, let's just be honest here. Hypothetically, if you was running a company, no one would need you to tell your company for it to be diverse, because you would just hire based off of who has the best, who's most qualified. Right. So you would hire based off of merit, right? Yeah. Do you think that most companies hire based off of merit, like who's the best person, or you actually think they're just like, you know what, we're gonna hire all white men?
I think that when it comes to race, no.
Oh, wait. So when it comes to race, no. So you mean to tell me you think that if a company and they get a resume, a white man resume versus a black man's resume, the black man's resume is much better. He got more experience, he has a higher education, and a white man resume is worse than a black man's. You think that companies will hire the white man over the black man?
Yeah.
If they did that, companies would go out of business because they're not going to have the best employees. That's what you think companies really do?
I mean, to a certain extent, yeah.
If you had a company, would you do that?
No.
Your company you'd be bankrupt. You'll go out of business.
Right. I'm not racist.
Okay. So do you think that companies, and these companies, I have companies, right? I have many businesses. So when I'm running my businesses that I have and I'm hiring people, do you think that I'm doing this for profit, is not for profit? So when you have this mindset and you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't come in an entrepreneur's mind. Now, are there exceptions to the rule? Are there just like evil, rude, racist people out there? Yes, there are. I do believe that there are racist people out there and they have evil intentions. But even those racist people, right? If the black man just had a much better resume, did a much better interview and more qualified than a white man, you need to fill this position with the best person in order for you to keep making money. Why wouldn't you do that? You think they're going to hire the unqualified person? That's what you truly think?
I hear you, and like that's how you would do it. We're talking about other companies. I don't feel that they would do that.
I'll grant the exception to the rule.
Not all of them.
There could be some person in HR that's racist, like, I don't like these niggers. And they're just like, oh, Jamal, any black names, they're just excusing them. Jamal, Tyrese, Tyrone, all the ties, god dang, besides Tyler. They're getting rid of all of them. Sure, there's some racist person out there, but do you think like the majority of these companies is not hiring based off of merit? They're hiring based off of race?
I feel like they're gonna pick the best white person in the bunch. I mean, just look at all the richest people. Like, just take a look at them.
Okay, why do you think those people are rich?
I can understand. Okay, entry level positions, they're not gonna give a fuck. But like moving up the ladder, they're gonna take that into account.
But
I'm sorry, but they will.
But that's why DEI was formed, so stuff like that wouldn't happen.
DEI doesn't say like they have to hire a certain amount of people. They can hire 1-2 black people and then 50 white people.
Like,
yeah, so I'll throw you a branch here. Nepotism is real, meaning that if I have a company and my brother is and wants to work for me, or my cousin reaches out and he needs a job, I'll look at my brother and my cousin and take their resumes in before I take anyone else's resumes in. So that's nepotism. That definitely happens, right? Now, since nepotism is like real, is nepotism immoral? That's a different debate, right? That's a different debate. What's up?
Oh, I said that's valid. It's a valid take.
Yeah, like we can have that debate. We could think about it, but that's a different discussion. So I'll throw you a leaf and say, yeah, there's definitely been some nepotism in America. There's more white people in America than any other races. So for sure, companies are going to hire their family in, but then after their family's in, they're looking at who's the most qualified. Now, there's exceptions to the rule that is just some racist, evil people out there that they probably would do this too. But what I'm saying is with affirmative action and with DEI, that all went away. Like, you can't get away with that because these companies have to meet a quota if they want to get certain grants and things from the government. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I get it.
What'd you say? Damn. Okay, yeah, let me get your opinion over here real quick. Let's get the other black girls involved. Go ahead, you can handle the mic.
You go, baby.
What's your thoughts on what you're witnessing with this conversation? Mic up.
I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
It's okay. Take your time.
Getting a little. Let me go first.
Okay, go ahead.
No, just because I hear you.
Sure.
I hear you. My boyfriend is white, so I understand like racism can come from any side. You can be Asian, they don't fuck with black folk. You can be Hispanic, they don't fuck with white folk. Like, excuse my language, but racism comes from every angle. But like she said, it's very layered. It's level. There's levels to it. There's a lot of gray areas. With the DE&I and affirmative action, yeah, we made a lot of good steps. But like she said, they're going to choose this white candidate over this black candidate. There was a whole study shown, like, if a white candidate and a black candidate have the same resume, they both have felonies, they're going to choose the white candidate with the felony and the same resume as black folk, because it's just like institutionalized racism. She's not a victim, she's not a slave, but she's a victim of the institution. And so I think that's
Explain
important.
institutionalized racism.
like it's like a little it's like a trickle down economics. It's like a trickle down. Like it started from 1800s. It's gonna trickle down. Like people who are in power, why would they relinquish it? Like if the white folk are in power,
so you said that studies was done where it was. Do you have records of this study where it was done?
Am I well versed? No, I'm gonna tell you right now. I saw the study on TikTok. And they said this percentage of white folk gonna get the job. This percentage of white folk get the job. This percentage of black folk. This percent can have the same resume, but the white people are more. They're considered more attractive to the job, the employers. You know what I mean?
And did they go through the face-to-face interview process?
No, it was just like, here's a white name, Sarah, and here's a black name, Demonte.
Oh, you're going off of names.
Yes, based off the resumes are the exact same, but they have different names.
Oh, discrimination based off of names.
Is discrimination racism not the same thing?
No, well, I mean, you're discriminating based off of name because maybe you're thinking this name and their ethnicity is different than yours. It can be considered still racism to a degree where you're discriminating based off of race. Or it can be discriminating. Like what I'm saying here is when we're speaking about these things and you're like trying to really hone in on it, and you're a company and it's a name and the name is Shabuzi.
Okay.
Versus a name David.
Okay.
It's the same exact resume?
They got the same credentials. Extracurriculars, 4.0 GPA, both went to college. It's replicated.
We got to just be honest.
Replicated.
What name more easier to pronounce?
Why does that?
It's just human nature, bro. Like you ain't even gotta like.
Y'all got the same skill set.
What I'm saying is, like, you ain't even really gotta put like ethnicity in it. You could put like human minds is like we're very simple creatures. We'll be like, nigga, we always take the easiest path to success. So if this name just looked like an easier name and customers can say this name and this name can be said to other customers, is like, well, you kind of won off the name. So it really is not what I'm saying. I'll grant it to you and say I could see how it can be a side of racism with the name because they can insinuate and think that it's a black name or an Indian name. Yeah, but then the other thing is, right? They cannot even be racist, and that HR person that's looking at the application can just be like, Katie is much easier than Chardonnay. What? Like Sade, like let's just go with Katie. Same resume, it's simple. We got 4 Katies. Get the 5th Katie in. Get what I'm saying? It could be something like that. What I'm saying is, with the black mind, we don't always have to assume that it's racism, because anytime you're always assuming things, you become a victim of. You create this victim mindset.
I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I like to joke, be like, if something doesn't go my way, I'm like, oh, it's because I'm black. But that's a joke. There are people for real that be like, this didn't happen for me because of the color of my skin, and it's like sometimes you gotta look.
Listen,
internal.
I make jokes like that too.
Yeah, you gotta look internal and be like, maybe this just wasn't the right fit.
Listen,
for you.
I mispronounce words. I'm like, man, I'm from the hood. I mispronounce words. It happens.
There's a middle ground. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
he was coming hard, and it's like she got a point. It's institutionalized. Is she a slave? No. Can she go apply for some jobs?
No.
Yes,
the point was made clearly where she said that. Right. The reason why, with that video, she's saying that what she took out of the video was more of racism. The other girl took out of the video was more of those girls of disrespectful, right? Bad decorum. Those girls are disrespectful, rude, and inappropriate. And then when we peeled the layer back, I said, well, why do you think that you looked at race? Why did you take out like racism from it? Because she said, I experienced racism. I asked the white girl, have you experienced racism? Yeah, I've experienced racism too. But they both took out 2 different things from it. One has a victim mindset. The other one is void of a victim mindset. So I just wanted to understand why she has this victimhood. Like, why are you looking at everything as racist? Think about it, right? It's like if I say the color, like, let's just do a thought exercise real quick, how simple things are, right? If I say the color blue, subconsciously, all of you right now just thought of the color blue in your head. It is what it is right there, right? So the thing is, when things are being said repeatedly over time by the Democrats, the left wing, the NAACP, and they're always making all of these claims and saying racism, these people are racist, these companies are racist, these cops are racist, that's all you're looking for in something. So when you watch a video or you experience something or you go through a situation, you're more likely to look at racism before actually just looking at this person has a bad character.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at things objectively. You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I could rock with that.
What you wanted to say? Bring the heat. So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.